over the past recent days, over the past recent days, Kenyan youth, so to speak, they're being called the Gen Zs, which is the youth of the Kenya. They have no leader. They are tribeless. They are partyless. They are religionless. Some of them they're religionless because what we started seeing is the Somali guys, the Hindu guys, the Asian guys, Christian, Catholic, whatever. It doesn't matter what your religion is. You, all of them, they are still participating in this revolution, which is bloodless revolution, but the current government is trying to make the revolution very bloody, okay, where people are being abducted, where people are being killed, right? And then the media, what they're doing is some of them, they're lying about the numbers of people who are being killed. They're lying about the numbers of people who are being abducted, so that the international communities, right, they will create what is called a public image, public PR, right, so that business and investors won't leave the country, right, and we'll start to see is, man, because of one thing or several things, is because of good governance, right? People want good governance to the country, right? People want public money, public finance, public resources to be used in a way that is very diligent, in a way that is very extremely diligent. Why? Because we've seen a massive case of corruption and people working corruption free. Corruption free, meaning what? They commit financial crimes when they're in public office and they walk free. Like, how can someone literally stole 2 billion from a county and then all of a sudden you hear the money that we have recovered is less than 300 million Kenya shillings, and this guy stole 2 billion? How can someone commit financial crimes and still he's been appointed as the head of Kenya Revenue Authority? How can someone commit a financial crime? How can a governor, listen, how can a governor, okay, being caught in buying a 900 million property and nothing is done? No one is asking, hey, how did you get this 900 million? Because we know your salaries. You declare your wealth. Okay? We know this. How can someone, can a public, can a cabinet secretaries being fired and then they'll be living lavishly, they'll be driving extremely expensive cars, they'll be wearing extremely expensive watches, they'll be wearing extremely expensive ties, they'll be wearing extremely expensive shoes, and nothing is being questioned about the integrity of their finances. Nothing. Okay, and then you want to tell Kenyans, listen, you see this debt that we have, it's now at 11 trillion, both domestic and foreign, and we need you to pay. I will overtax you, okay? Listen, I will take 16% of your income tax so that I can pay this debt. And check it. Say, listen, I will not borrow, but check it. He borrows more and more again. And he borrows things that is very unconstitutional. When I say unconstitutional, I mean the Constitution is clear. The Constitution of Kenya is very clear. It says that if you want to borrow, please borrow for development and nothing but development only. Don't borrow to pay other borrowed loans. Don't borrow to pay salaries. Don't borrow to steal. Okay? Don't borrow for current expenditure. Borrow for development only. Whether it's internal or external, borrow for development only. But we're seeing the government taking all these debts and forcing the youth to pay. He said, listen, you need to tighten up your belts because, listen, I will come for 22% of your income. 22%? Are you kidding me? When we see the head of state, he said, listen, we don't have money for teachers, for medical, excuse me, for medical interns, okay? But we have the money for the president to live a lavish lifestyle, for the deputy president to live in luxury. We need to set aside 1.2 billion shillings so that the state house can be renovated. Right? We need to set aside like 1.2 billion, right? So that the deputy president offices, right, and the house can be extremely entirely lavishly renovated. We need to set aside millions, hundreds of millions of shillings, 600 million, 500 million, right, for the first lady, for the second lady, for their faith intercessor, right? And you tell the people that we don't have money, and yet we see what you're doing in terms of budget allocation, resource allocation is very, 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 very. It shows that Kenyans have money. It shows that Kenyans have money. This is the revolution that, to my perspective, I don't see, I don't feel that it will never ever stop. It will never ever stop. And the IMF knows that, listen, Kenya, they having massive corruption. It ain't 100%. They know. They know. And what they do, IMF is in the business of making its member states to be their current and recurrent and current referral back and back and back, right? Customers. IMF in the business of looking for continuity member states to be there, to be their clients. But the question is this: why is IMF, right, like so hard, especially on Africa, but they don't do that to Dubai? They don't do that to United Arab Emirates. They don't do that to the communist China. Oh, they don't do that to United Kingdom, right? But when they come to Africa, all they impose is very harsh economic conditions. Hey, devalue your currency. Hey, devalue your currency. Hey, we need to cut down spending. Government spending. Hey. You see those companies, government companies that aren't doing well? You need to privatize them. You need to list them in the stock market or sell them off, and if you can, listen. And some of these deals are done behind the scenes. They're done without people knowing, right? The only thing you came to know is whereby you have this bill. It's automatically out there. But when it happened behind the scene, when it was being drafted, when it was in creation mode, people were not there physically. And then you come and impose people, you impose things against people will. You do very things unconstitutionally, right? You were sworn in to protect the Constitution, Mr. President, His Excellency. You were sworn in to protect and uphold high of the Kenyan Constitution, but you abuse it. It will abuse you. Okay? It will abuse you. And the people are starting to reclaim, to recall their power back. Okay? The power of words wasn't so powerful. You see people chanting Ruto must go. You see statements like Occupy State House. That I believe one day it will come to fruition. And I pull this video and I will tell you, listen, why is it so powerful, man? That it will literally come to pass. And you see, Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must. I'm not the one propagating the agenda. Ruto must go, but you see it everywhere in the news. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. State House. State House. You see people saying, listen, today we are going to have lunch in State House. That's what people are saying. Today we are going to have lunch in State House. And eventually, gradually, if things don't change, if things don't primarily change, it will come to pass. People will have lunch in the State House. This is why Kenya is massively protesting. And the deal majority is not about the IMF. No, it's not about the IMF. IMF is some part of it. But the majority part of it is the corruption. It's the bad governance, bad leadership. Like, listen, I'm gonna ask you a question. One of the things the president said in his campaign was Wilbur-onomics. Let me ask you a question. If you drive, you're in the front. You're in the front seat, right? If you drive in the front seat, if you drive a wheelbarrow, you see your front. You're in the front seat, right? It's only the wheelbarrow that when you drive, you are behind it. You are behind the wheelbarrow and not the front of it. So, my dear brothers, I want you to think about it. There's no dialogue. Time for dialogue is over. The only dialogue we need is action. People who have abused corrupt money to face the law. His Excellency, the President, to do things very constitutional, to follow and obey the Constitution. Whether it's the budget, whether it's the role of Auditor General in public debt, to do things in a very constitutional, systematic way. Not faith intercession. Oh man, let's pray for rain. Oh, let's pray so that this public debt can go away. And you know what you did? You know what you did in the first place? Okay, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I see you on the top because the bottom is way too crowded. And never look down upon anyone unless you're willing to help them up. But most importantly, understand this: believing that you can is way more profitable than believing that you can't. Much love. Peace out.